Yo, what's up, everybody? What up, Billy?
Hey!
What up, everybody? We're a little late, but it's okay. That's our style. That's how we do. We come correct, though, when we do come through. Actually, hopefully we come correct.
Hopefully. I hope so, too.
Hopefully. I'm not going to throw that all
Yes.
out there.
Yes. We are a little late, as always, but thank you.
What was that?
Because I got
Is that an
Jump
ad?
Street
Is that an ad?
on my thing. It's an ad. Sorry.
We got to get those views up.
Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us. This is our first episode into 2023, and
Yeah,
we are
that's crazy. I
excited
didn't
to
think about
talk
that.
about our predictions that are coming up. But before we do, please, if you don't already, follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have a Instagram you could follow. We have a Facebook you can like. We have a YouTube page. You can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you like what you're listening to, you can comment, you can share. It's very helpful for us. This is a labor of love for us. So any of that support is really helpful for us. And we're very thankful of that. We have a iTunes. You can give us a 5-star rating. You can give us a review if you like what you're listening to. And we also have a Patreon. If you want to be a Patreon, you could be Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You get to have all this exclusive content. You get to get first priority on questions for our guests. When we have upcoming guests, you get the alert. We do section reviews. We do trick tips. We do 3 pieces. And you are automatically entered into a free giveaway every month. And we are about to do our free giveaway right now, right, Austin, where you could win something from our online store, whether it be a 5-panel hat, it could be a shirt, it could be a cool Jump Street mug.
Ooh,
The tank top probably not good for winter, but summer is right around the corner.
If you're down
so
under,
you can
it's
jump in
perfect.
there.
It's hot right now in Sydney and Melbourne and New Zealand and all these places, so
Yeah.
you might need that there. But yeah, let's do this monthly giveaway. Let's start this off correct this year. Let's see. Okay, I got the right screen. So, like Billy said, everybody from our Patreon, all 300 and whatever of you, 320. And we have the winner for this month is, come on, David Lee. Congrats, David Lee. We'll reach out to you on Patreon. Make sure you check your Patreon messages, by the way. Again, this past month, I said this before, I guess people just don't check their Patreon a lot or ignore the emails that they get. But a lot of people who are Patreon members who are supposed to get stuff from us, they don't have their addresses in their Patreon. So check your messages if you feel like you deserve something and haven't received anything yet. I probably sent you an email. So check that out. And congrats to David Lee. Thank you for supporting the show. And let's give a quick shout out to all the new Patreon supporters this week. We have Danny Rev, Jake Maletsky, Gregory Pesochin, Moon Bootson, and Jeff Collado. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. We've been trying to put as much shit on there as possible. Exclusive shit only to Patreon. So definitely check that shit out. And thank you all for supporting.
You just said shit so many times.
Did I?
Yeah, it's okay though.
I'll keep it going in the rest of the show. Don't stop me.
We also have a lot of really exciting things coming up. We are going to Winter Clash in just a little over 2 weeks, Austin and I, and we have some live interviews coming up with some very special guests. I think we're going to do at least 3, but we're thinking about doing 4 episodes, and we're trying to consider that.
2 of them are at least
So
are live, though, so whoever's there could watch us. And
yeah, and
I think they'll announce that whenever they put the schedule out.
And we don't want to give it away, but we have some very special guests that we often don't have access to when we're in the States, and we have access to while we're in Europe. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to start off this new year very strong. Speaking of strong, if you're looking to get into a good, healthy moment, this is a good segue. We have Jump Sups available, jumpsups.com. where we have multivitamin, we have turmeric, we have the Ultra Joint Flex, we have krill oil, we have CBD oil as well.
The CBD oil is on hold right now.
Oh, the CBD oil, I'm sorry.
It will be back soon, but CBD oil is on hold. Everything else is available, though.
Well, these are just some items that we decided to pick that we felt targeted and could be helpful directly for people who were doing skating. These are like the krill oil and the Ultra Joint Flex are obviously for like flexibility and motion. Turmeric is for inflammation. The multivitamin is quite basic. A multivitamin, just some nutrients for your body. But who knows? You might be doing the homie build challenge on Instagram. And if you are, then you might need some of that extra stuff. Or you might just be skating and doing whatever skating that brings like all like the regular injuries of skating that you might be experiencing. So it's for a lot of us older bladers, the bladers in the 30s. But hey, if you're in your early 20s or late 20s, you might want to start developing these habits now. So look into that, jumpsups.com.
What's your promo code? Don't you have a homie
You can use a promo code, HomieBill, to save 20% off.
Woo!
So HomieBill at checkout for 20% off. We do bundles. And look, if you're going to go to GNC, you're going to buy it anyway. Why not support the blade community? It's the same stuff. I think ours is even better because we got better labels.
Cooler.
It's cooler. It's cooler. Is this sale working? I don't know. But check that out, jumpsups.com.
And Homie Bill for...
Homie Bill at checkout to save 20%.
20% off. There you go. For all you Homie Bill challengers out there. I seen you doing your thing, Billy. I see everyone else posting their Homie Bill challenges every morning. I did it once so far.
Okay.
I didn't go in like I was going to do it every day, but I did it once. I still do my own exercises. I ride my bike almost every single night. And so that's my workout. So
yeah,
shout out to all the Homie Bill challengers. It's
not for everyone. I like doing it. I like starting the new year, and I try to I like to start the January no drinking, no bad habits. Wake up, start the exercise, eat right, no junk food at least for January, so your body responds really well, and it helps with skating when you start doing these kind of things. It's reflecting in my skating when I'm going out. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling better. So if you want to do that, it's helpful, and you find it helpful, great. But if not, hey, I mean, I know you did a ton
recently. That's rumor. Dude, has it you did a hammer recently? Dude, so it's got to be doing something good.
I'm about to drop a part this year.
Woo! Damn, you're just gonna.
I'm not going to say much more. I'm not going to say much. I'm going to let my skating do the talking.
Okay.
But
I didn't want to say any of that.
I'm going to drop a part. Yeah, I'm dropping a serious part this year, barring a serious injury, but I'm very focused on my health, my body, Mesmer, and the 2023 ahead. So that's all I'm going to say about it. After that, I'm going to let the skating do the talking.
Damn, Billy's dropping that heat this year. That heat. Starting it off right. Homie Build Challenge. Maybe the Homie Build Challenge will last all year round, and it'll reflect in your skate section. I think you're ready to hammer. It's the year's starting off well. You're killing it over there.
Thank you.
Let's give a shout out for the sponsor for this episode. We have Blank, who won Sponsor of the Year 2022. So thank you, Blank, for sponsoring this episode. The new Blank 2023 Team Skate is out now in all sizes. Be sure to check it out. They also just dropped this video the other day on YouTube, Blank and SF. Awesome 7-minute video by Taylor Coburn. And, it has the Blank founder, Tom Heiser, explaining what the brand's all about, the significance of the team, why each rider is so special. It's really cool. It's not just like a trick skate edit. Tom has a lot to say about the team and inform everybody what Blank has going on and, why these skaters like Tony Woodland right here is so special, featuring skaters from Cameron Talbot, Sean Keane, Tony Woodland, Nolan Jun, I think his name is Cairo Cesar, and Stephen Babcock. So definitely check that out on YouTube. We have a link in the description now if you want to check that out after this podcast is done. But thank you, Blank, for sponsoring this episode. And check out that Pigeon Blue Team Skate. Available right now, all sizes from US 6 to 12.5 with one shell size per full and half size. So 6 is its own, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, all their own shell sizes to get you that perfect fit. And they also just finally released their 60 millimeter hydrogen wheels. So you could buy just the hydrogen wheels now. They're for sale, which I think personally, I've been saying this, are like one of the best wheels out, one of the best wheels I ever rode. So if you're a 60 millimeter hydrogen rider, you can now buy those wheels individually for sale. So thank you, Blank, for sponsoring this episode. Boom.
I love what they're doing right now. I just watched their last thing and it was so good.
The vibe is so nice, right? The vibe is sick in that video.
I also got to shout out my New York Blank riders, Ariel Saroon, that we didn't see in there, and Alex Ryerson from Bodega Boys. Guys are doing their thing, and I just like seeing all the team stuff out and the good vibe edits. Blading's in a fun place right now, so Shout out Blank.
Yeah, and I love what teams are doing, like what you do with Mesmer, how you have like the New York City video, like all the crew together. The same thing what Blank just did was in San Francisco. Everyone's all together in one spot. They're vibing.
USD just did it.
Yeah, USD with their tour video too. It's like it's something that we haven't seen too much of, I think, over the past years, and it's starting to make a comeback now. I think we're appreciating, the good company that we have in skating, and beyond just the tricks that we do, just the good company that we have, and what everyone brings to the table with skating. So I like that that's being shown now.
Skating is skating just happens to be the medium that we are able to connect through, but it's skating, and what we like from skating tends to be deeper than just the skating.
Yeah.
In my experience.
I completely agree. Right before we get into this episode, I just want to say right here that we just put out, you guys been asking for years. We finally answered. We have the first Jump Street hoodie now available on our Jump Street store, jumpstreet.com/store.
Heyo!
It's an embroidered hoodie. Nice little high quality warm hoodie to keep you all cozy for the winter. Embroidered MTA Jump Street logo. Here's my corny ass modeling picture. Sorry for that in advance. We also have a little embroidery on the sleeve right there, a little line logo, and we have a Jump Street beanie right there too. Nice little Circle J logo beanie right there to match the hoodie. So check it out at the Jump Street store, jumpstreetpodcast.com/store. And you guys been asking for years, and we finally been saying, let's get this done. So we finally have it done. So check that hoodie out.
Nice.
Stay warm this winter. And if you're in Australia, buy the tank top instead.
Yeah. Well, or buy it for this next our summer. You can probably use that in Australia. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if they ever need a hoodie down there. I've never been, so I couldn't tell you.
It's like people in Florida who in the wintertime when it's like 50 degrees out, they need a hoodie still because they're acclimated to that as being they're cold. And like in 50 degrees in New York, we're like in t-shirts and shit, So that's another S-bomb right there for you, Billy.
Definitely. Okay, so should we get into it? Oh, by the way, also we have Tom Moise in the chat. Huge shout out to Tom Moise. I think he's he's like one of my favorite Blade voices. He's like, to me, he's number one in terms of Blade voice. I mean, there's Biz, he's also number one to me. There's so many number ones.
Biz is back for 2023.
Yeah, Biz is back.
Biz is back for 2023. That's big news.
Biz is back, man. Huge shout out Brandon Drummond. Anyone that works on this back end of skating is so important, because as you and I both know, we've been doing this for like 4.5 years now, but it tends to be a labor of love. It tends to be something that we're doing because we love it and we care about it. And I just love to see everyone contributing to make this community stronger and make it more healthy. So huge shout out to Tom, huge shout out to Biz, everyone in the content creation space. Wheel Scene. How can I forget Wheel Scene?
Wheel Scene had you on the podcast.
Yeah, he did. He did have me on the podcast.
Twice. So nice. He had to have you twice.
Yeah, he did have me on twice. Yeah, I'm always nervous when I'm talking with him. I always get nervous.
With him specifically.
I feel. Yeah. I just feel like he's just got to be sharp. When you're, because I feel like, you just gotta, I don't know. He asks like, he doesn't ask like layman questions. He asks like very questions that are like, you just gotta be sharp. You want to come in with your head on right, I think.
Yeah. That's why I like Dave though. Yeah. I even said that since the beginning, since when he used to write articles for VMAG back in the day. I always love what he did because of that. And it's nice for the viewers, and it could be a little, I guess, daunting or intimidating for the interviewee, but he puts out great stuff. And even his most recent video about the skateboarder talking about a female skater waxing everything at the skate park. I think it was on Thresh or Vance or something like that.
Chrissy Griselli, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there you go. The names escape me, but yeah, he put out that video too, which is like a kind of controversial topic too. So he's good for that stuff too. Everybody has their own flavor. We do our own thing. Tom does his own thing. Brandon does his own thing. Biz does his own thing. Dave does his own thing. There's different channels of skating content now online. So which is amazing to see. We never had that back in the day.
It's awesome. I really like it. I just wish YouTube would stop suggesting skateboarding after all the videos that we do. It's like every time I watch a Blade video, they suggest skateboarding. Like it's like the next video. Come on, YouTube. Come on. Come on.
Mine actually
But
said
other
board
than
sport the other day. Board sport specifically, but it was a mix of blading and skateboarding. I don't know how the hashtags have to get mixed up or something, or the keywords like skating just probably mixes everything together into one. Because I never get roller skating stuff, and I feel like roller skating is more related than skateboarding. You know what I mean?
I would rather that. I would rather the roller skating get suggested than the skateboarding.
Yeah,
like, no offense to skateboarding, I just don't think they need any more help. Like, I don't think they need any more suggestions. It's cool. We get it. Like, I see them on like the Pizza Pocket commercial. Like everywhere I look, like, and it's all good. All due respect to skateboarding, they work hard. Like, but I'm looking to see things more in my lane, and I think. Although I'm not a roller skater, I think that's closer to our lane than skateboarding. That's just me. That's my opinion.
Hot take.
Should we move? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Should we move forward with
Yeah.
some of our predictions for this year?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun in this episode, everybody. We did. I figured we'd do this. We figured we would do this. Talk about predictions, what we think is going to happen this year. We also want to know what you all think in the chat too. If you're watching live right now and you have some predictions or bold or whatever predictions for this year, at Jump Street Podcast in the chat, and we'll read some of the good ones out later on in the episode. And then at the end of the year, we'll just look back on these and see how wild they were. Were they right? Were they wrong? What hit the mark? What didn't? And we could have a good laugh about it all then. But that's what this episode's all about. We're going to have some fun today.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now with my predictions, because I was thinking about what my predictions are. And, there are some things like I might have like a little inside information on some things. I'm close to like a lot of things happening over here. So I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to be just more broad on the predictions. But
yeah, mine were more specific than yours.
I guarantee I'm going to be dead wrong about some and hopefully right about some. But I'm looking forward to that.
You also had more than I did too. I did like 3. I have a bonus one, but I try to do 3. One that's more likely, one that's like completely out there. It would be crazy if it landed, and then one just kind of in the middle. So we'll go through all these. You have more than me though. I think you should kick it off since you have more predictions than I do.
Okay.
After your smoothie.
Sorry.
And shout out to the guy who said that kale was unhealthy for you in the last episode.
Well, listen, I got to stay right after the Homie Build Challenge, but I did see that in the comments. He's like, bro, kale, almond milk. He's like, you're messing yourself up. I'm like, well, dude, it probably beats like booze and cigarettes. So like, give me a break, But shout out, if booze and cigarettes works for you, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, so with predictions, I have a few subjects that it would be cool to go over. But I think one of the most basics is comebacks. So we could talk about this in terms of like the individuals or events. So one obvious comeback is Bitter Cold. Bitter Cold. So that's not even a prediction. That's like a well-known thing. Bitter Cold is coming back. Mm-hmm. But I think because of that, we could talk about individuals who may be coming back and might come back a little stronger this year.
I want to hear this.
So I'm going to go off one right now, and I'm going from what I see on social media. This is not inside information. I have not talked to the person about it, but I'm just starting to follow, and I'm noticing I think we're going to see more from Brian Aragon this year.
Ooh.
I noticed he was like really, his social media for years was like fishing, and it's always like every post was like a fish like this big, and he's like, look at my fish. He has his like outfit on, his like his stay dry overalls, you know what I mean? Huh. And his nice little fisherman like cap on and all that stuff. But lately, I don't know, like last year I saw like some tricks here and there, like a trick here, trick there, like, okay. And then I saw like he was skating in someone's backyard and they had like a start box rail and he was doing some like hard tricks. He'd like true spin ollie sole both ways and 360 sole, the top sole. And okay, he's starting to get more comfortable. And it's a shot, like he's a friend, but I haven't spoken to him about this, but I feel like one of my predictions for comebacks for individuals, I feel like we're going to see a lot more out of Aragon this year. Aragon, if you're listening to this, please fulfill my prediction because I think a lot of people would love to see your skating. And I feel like I really do feel like it's something that is, that we'll see in 2023. What do you think?
Do you think he'll put out like a section, or you just want to see like you think he'll be like just more active on social media, kind of like just more Instagram clips maybe?
Okay, like so in all of his coming back, I haven't seen one street clip yet. Nothing on the street as of
True.
yet. But
I mean, he's
I
got his
feel
own
like
skate park.
I feel like we're going to see more in the street from him. I think we're going to see more content in general from him. A section, I don't know, maybe. But I feel like he's going to compete this year at some level. I could be so wrong right now.
Did he
But
go to a
again,
contest this like a few months ago? Damn, someone shouted out in the chat. Maybe like in Texas or something, or maybe it was in Colorado. I feel like he did skate out of contest. Oh, at the Frankie Morales Invitational, wasn't he there? He didn't compete though, but he skated in
okay.
it.
No, he did. He went out. He skated one heat and he advanced, but then he took his skates off. He was like, I just wanted to skate in one heat. So that's what that's kind of what I mean. I'm not like completely basing this on a shot in the dark. I'm seeing some activity here, like very little, but like some interest. And it just seems like he's starting to like fan the fire a little bit, the flame a bit more, and like give it like a little more air. I think we'll see more from him this year. And like I said, like he's a friend. I could call him and be like, hey, are you going to do more this year? What are your plans? I have no idea. I haven't spoken to him in that capacity at all. But I think just from what I'm seeing, I think we will see more.
That's an interesting one. I didn't think about that at all. Comeback's slowly been making a comeback, if you will. Like over the years, you randomly see like people pop out of the woodworks here and there, especially when you go to things like Blading Cup. You see, the Veterans Cup, like they're all out, and that might be the only time they skate all year, which is like, cheers to them. They're probably hurting for like a month or two afterwards, but it's really cool to see that stuff. I remember, I don't know if it's been happening recently, but I remember years ago, Billy Prislin started popping up on social media, and everyone was excited. I was like, oh shit, Billy Prislin's back. He's like doing his thing, he like, who wouldn't want to see Billy Prislin skate again? That style was so unique and bold. It was out there. He was so good, and he just fell off, kind of. But I haven't seen anything from him in a while. I feel like that would be cool to see like Billy Prislin actually make a more serious comeback. Maybe he got hurt. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, no, not to interrupt, but Billy was like, and like the Elements days, if anyone is like from that generation, but he was like one of my favorite skaters at one point. He had like one of the best styles. Like his topsole was like such a good topsole. Great alley fish brain. His Savannahs were unmatched.
The best Savannahs, probably.
I never saw anyone do like the kind grind to Savannah and the alley fish to Savannah was like his babies. Like he made those his. Mm-hmm. He did have two different eras in his skating. He had like the I'm committed to skating Ripper guy when he was my favorite, and then he was in like the Solomon days. I think he was getting more into partying and DJing, and you could see his skating kind of was suffering because of that. And to see him skate in any capacity would be awesome. Mm-hmm. So like even just one trick or something would be really cool to see.
Like last year was Louis' year too. Louis, I was trying to think. I'm like, somebody big came back last year, and it was Louis. Louis came back, and he's killing it now, possibly skating better than ever. So another comeback like that this year would be from Aragon, Billy Prislin, whoever else pops out and just starts, showing everybody what time it is.
Yeah, here's a good one, and do you think Louis will compete in the OG Cup this year? Like what's it called at the Blading Cup? Like the old man, the Veterans Cup. Like why am I saying old? It's not nice, but yeah, the Veterans Cup at the Blading Cup. Do you think we'll see Louis get in there because Randy came out super hard? Randy's always been like big on fitness, CrossFit, so I feel like he can be when you keep your body in that kind of shape, you can always kind of come back into blading because like your body is able to respond in such a way. Mm-hmm. Louis, with the progress he's made, I feel like he could actually come and top three or do some damage. Do you think we'll see him in the Veterans Cup this year? So
I know you were working the Mesmer booth a lot. Did you not watch the Veterans Cup? He did compete in the Veterans Cup this year, but he did compete, and the same thing too. I'm like, Louis taking it this year. Louis winning the Veterans Cup this year because he was skating that good, and then he fell and he hit his face, and he didn't. I don't know if that was the first round or the second round, whatever, but I don't think he just chilled out after that. I probably took his skates off, but he was a shoo-in for like top three at least. He was killing it. So hopefully this year, if he still keeps it going, which I hope he does, I would like to see him, challenge Randy for that title that Randy keeps taking every year. So that would be awesome to see.
That'd be cool to see.
He's fully capable. Fully capable.
I don't want to stay on this too hard, but I feel like even though this is more maybe of an obvious prediction, I feel like we're going to see another big thing out of Demetrius this year, because he came strong. I think 2 years ago was when he came back, wasn't it? 2021 or was it 2020?
Either 2020 or 2021.
Okay, and then I know he had like a lot of different injuries that like held him back, and but because he's been gone for like you haven't seen him be active for a little while now. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's just him like healing up and like trying to get everything together to prepare for a strong year this year. So I don't know that's another one. I feel like we'll see another big thing from Demetrius this year. What do you think?
Yeah, Demetrius. He like you said, he's been on it for a while. I think he keeps going so hard that he like injures himself or something like that. But he did do that disaster topsoul at the Huntington Beach High School recently, which is fucking insane on any scale. Carlos did that, but I don't think anyone else did that disaster. So that was
Haffy did it.
Oh, did he? What did Haffy do on it?
Front side.
Oh, so they both front sided because Carlos front sided it too, didn't he?
No, Carlos. He back royaled it.
Oh, Royale.
And then he Farfanuganed it.
I'm thinking of Carlos's front farf. Yeah.
Haffy did a front side like off the kink, perfect.
Damn, like disaster front side is crazy.
Really measured. Like Haffy's front side was like really measured, so it was really well done. Oof. But no one has gapped to a soul trick yet. So I think Demetrius like holds the title for like being able to gap to top soul on that thing. The video was insane on that, man. Like
he did it so many times too.
I don't see like that. That's like so wild to me. Like I feel like if you don't do something like that in like 1, 2, or 3 tries, then it's then I don't know. But he manages to get these things done. Guy's got a lot of heart. He loves blading. He skates hard. He has his own vision, despite whatever is in the zeitgeist or popular in blading at the moment. Like blading had a thing, or still does, where it's kind of exploring like the smaller stuff, and like the more like technical aspects is like has been a heavy focus. Like thank you to everyone who's contributing that, from like the mushroom blade influence to like the basement guys, but he has his own vision and he sticks to it, and sometimes that can get some criticism, but I like to see it. I like all the different flavors that you can find in blading. If everyone was doing the same things, it wouldn't be that fun for me. It wouldn't be that interesting. But I like seeing him do his thing. So, as in terms of comeback, those are my 2 predictions for the year. I think we're going to see more from Brian Aragon. I think we're going to see more from Demetrius George. So
those are good ones. Let us know let us know in the comments who you guys want to see a comeback from. I see Jay O'Neill also commented. He says he sold Billy Prislin some wizard skates last year, so he's doing some sort of skating now.
Oh, damn.
That'd be crazy if he came back as like a really fancy wizard skater. I'm going to say fancy because I think that type of skating is pretty fancy, That'd be pretty cool to see. But yeah, let us know what you guys think about that. I'm going to go with my predictions in order of like probability. So I'm going to go like the easiest one first. And I'm going to say that I want to see China get a pro skate this year. And I know Faction just released the shred pool skate yesterday, which is really cool to see. And now Faction's breaking into the pro skate world. So a lot of people are on the team, obviously. And China was one of the later ones, but I feel like China should be a priority on that team. She got a frame last year from Crate Originals. She has multiple chromo wheels with her name on it. So the last thing left for her is the skate. And I know there's a million people out there who would want to see China get a pro skate. And now that she finally has a sponsor, she can get that pro skate. So I want to see that by Faction. I think that'd be really cool to see, be one of the most deserving products of the year, probably, if that did happen. And there's not many other female skaters besides Mary on USD who are like pro for a boot company that even have this opportunity to get the pro skate. So, I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know if there are other female skaters on pro teams, but I would like to see that there's a great chance for another female pro skate out there.
I think there's a ton of female skaters with the potential,
Oh
but
yeah.
I think it's the combination of what, in my opinion, makes there's many contributing factors that make a pro,
Hmm.
but for me, like the two main things is combination of the talent and the work. So the abilities of being that a good skater, and then the content that you're able to put out. Like so I see a lot of potential in that.
Hmm.
I agree with you. I think China is well overdue for a pro skate. She has been skating at a very high level for a very long time. She's been putting out content consistently for such a long time. I do see other girls that have the potential to do so. There's a lot of talent coming out of South America with females. There's a lot of talent I see coming out of Europe and Poland and uh, and New York and like all over with certain females who are absolutely killing it right now. But I will second what you're saying. I completely agree with what you're saying. I think we will see that this year. I would love to see that, and you know we could put it out into the ether. We want to see that.
And Clark Herman's in the chat too, of course, as I'm saying this right now. But I know that there's other people online on Faction. I know like there's other people there to get pro skates, but expedite this one, please, Clark. Expedite this one. I know a lot of people will be so hyped to see a China pro skate, and like you said too, so many women are deserving of to be pro and all this stuff, but I don't think there's currently any females that are pro that are in that next step to get that pro skate. So a lot of women are sponsored by boot companies, but they're like AMS or Flow or whatever it is, and you know you kind of have to work your way up to that, you know. And China is at that step finally where she can get that pro skate.
Yeah. Well. Like I said, and I think this doesn't only apply to females, but I think it applies to everyone. But it's being a pro is the talent plus the work. You know.
Yeah.
So even though there's a ton of people, male and female, and non-binary, and all these other things who are able to have the talent to be pro, there are so many people, a huge list of people who have the talent to be pro, but you don't see the content and the work that is equivalent to that. China has done that, and
Yeah.
she's been consistently doing that for a long time. So I'd love to see that come to fruition one day. And yeah, I see a lot of other people with the potential to do so, but I feel like it's the talent combined with the work thing. So
Yes, definitely is.
we'll see.
She does put in the work though. She posts clips almost every single day, and they're all good. They're not just like throwaway shit too. She kills it.
Man, she did one because I was like playing around. I was like at the skate park doing like backside like fish backslide, like the back and forth. And I saw her, she did such a clean one, like 270 out. And I was like, oh, she's so good.
Everything she does is clean and controlled.
Yeah. And with the shades on too. She's always with the shades on. I love it. But yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you who you think should be pro, what do you think will happen? Who do you think will get a pro skate in the months coming up ahead?
What's your next prediction?
Okay, so I want to talk about trends of skating specifically. Okay, so this year we've seen a lot of new. In 2022, we've seen a lot of new things be introduced with skating. Like a lot of people have gone like more. A lot of people we've seen a lot of people transition to flat, bigger wheels, wizard, and see what is able to be produced on that. A lot of sliding around. Colin was bringing the toe presses, the heel presses, and we're seeing people like grind, drop their foot down to another grind, and I'm not sure what that's called.
Step downs, I think.
Yeah, let us know in the chats what you call that. Maybe step down. That makes sense. I like
it's called
that.
Step down.
Okay, so cool. We don't have to worry about naming it. We already got it.
I could be
named.
wrong
Cool.
though. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let us know.
But so there's a couple predictions I have here. One, I think we're going to explore the toe press, heel press stuff more. I think we're going to see a lot of that done more in 2023. Just from different variations. We've only seen like it a couple of things. I think we've only seen it out of Colin thus far, as far as like, I know other people are doing it, but we really haven't seen much of it on social media or on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a far out one. So it's a little far out. I think we're going to see a lot more anti-rocker. Like a lot of people are going to be coming back to anti, I think.
Resurgence?
Yes, I believe that. And I believe we're going to see people, instead of like the whole flat versus anti, we're just going to see people adopting multiple setups for multiple situations. And the reason why I think that is because, like, as an older blader who's been around for quite some time, you see the way that the trends function in blading. A long time ago, it was like really big hammers and like the biggest gaps and the biggest drop rails. And then, like, you know, Jeff Dahlis does like a triple drop kink from like 100 feet high. And then it gets to a point where you're like, okay, like, where do you go from here? You kind of maxed out in this area.
Yeah.
Like switch ups, when like switch ups on handicap rails were big in like the early 2000s. And it was like, oh my God, he did 5 switch ups on a handicap rail. Oh, he did 6. Like it became about quantifying the numbers of switch ups. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, he did 6 switch ups on a handicap rail. Like Murda specifically at the end of VG16.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
When he did the 5 switch ups, front far off to back rail to true all soul to 270 back rail to alley macchio, like getting that 5th one in, that like alley macchio after the back rail was like, oh my God, this is so revolutionary. And then blading kind of just like okay, we've kind of like you know, exhausted how far. Obviously you can go further, but I think like the interest in it kind of goes in a different way. And when you exhaust certain areas, like I feel like people look to either older ideas or like maybe like just new areas where they can explore. And I feel like a lot of like, I don't know. I just feel like anti, and this is maybe because I'm skating an anti setup a lot. I have a flat setup too that I still skate probably more than my anti, but I feel like we're going to see an adaptation of, I feel like the flat versus anti argument is going to dissipate. I think it's going to go away, and we're going to see more people just finding out what makes sense for the obstacles and adapting in that way. That's my hope and prediction. What do you think?
So toe and heel presses and anti-rocker, those are your trend predictions? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. I would love to see more toe and heel presses on street, because I've seen, like you said, I've seen people do like the taps. I've seen people like tap their toes at the end or tap their heels at the end of a ledge or something like that. But the actual sliding part, that takes some balls to do. And I know you were trying it and you've gotten a couple of them so far. Are we going to see some in your edit this year? Are you trying to work on some clips with that? No comment. No comment.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to be about it.
Yes, but that would be cool. I'm probably not going to be part of that trend because I think that's crazy, but who knows? That would be awesome to see. I never thought of like what trends would pop up this year. I have been wanting to try the anti-rocker stuff again too. I've been wanting to get fast slides again, and I haven't had fast slides since I rode freestyle. And I feel like doing fast slides riding flat is crazy hard, at least on ledges anyway. So I don't know. I can see that happening too. I don't know if it'll happen this year. I feel like anti-rocker will make a comeback again, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year. There's still so many frames coming out still with like the wheel bite protection now, it like caves in, or like making like a bigger split system in the middle, kind of like how Aeons are. But I mean, you never know. I guess you got to start the trends first before companies start manufacturing the products that are in demand. So we probably could see that this year. I'm curious if more people are riding anti-rocker now than flat. I wish there was like a study on this, like how we had studies of how many people are on rollerblades every year and how many anti-rocker wheels are being sold or stuff like that, to just see how it's moving. Because unless you just go to the skate park and look at people's feet and see what they're riding, whatever. But I still see mostly flat setups nowadays too.
Yeah. Because and there's a reason why, because like they're exploring these areas that have like not really been touched by aggressive in like such a like a direct way. But I don't know, like When I was like, you know what, I'm missing certain feeling tricks on anti, and I'm having so much fun on flat too. But I was like, oh, I'm missing certain feelings on anti, and then I made a setup and I started skating it, and I'm like, cool, that's what I was looking for. And then when I did that, I was like looking at other sections more closely, and I was like Nils, who just put out a phenomenal section a few months ago, and I believe did he get? I don't know who won. I know he was a contender for Skater of the Year at one magazine. We need to consolidate the awards.
I think Sean Kelso got Skater of the Year.
Okay, so Sean got Skater of the Year, and then Dom got Skater of the Year with Tom. There are different awards, and that's why it's hard to keep up. But I know he was a contender. Nils was in like the top 3 or the voting for it, and he killed it this year. But his section, I was watching his section, and I was like looking close. I was like, oh man, he's skating some tricks on flat skates and some tricks on anti skates, and that just seems like if you're a pro, it just seems like I don't know, common sense. Like, do you know what I mean? Like to have the setups that adapt to like the right spots or are more functional or better at better spots. So I feel like the flat versus anti, as humans, we always need to be like this or that, flat or anti, whatever, like whatever dividing line we need to create in order to identify ourselves and like stand on our identity. I feel like that's going to go away, start to fade a little more. And I feel like we're going to see a lot more people messing with multiple setups and people starting to even go back to anti, not full time, but I think we're going to see people playing both fields. That's my prediction and opinion. So
do you really like go to spots with 2 pairs of skates, or you just like have both in the car and just like swap them out?
Okay, so it depends. Like, okay, we have like 2 skate parks over here. One of them is called Cherry, and the other one's called Obispo, or Zaba rather. Orizaba, I always go with my flat setup because it has like more like banky, rolly kind of things, and like a Cherry is just a lot of like square edges. It's like really skateboard heavy park, so I find myself having fun with an anti setup more there. I bring it for the spot. Depending on the spot, I'm going to skate. But no, like I also go to the spot with if I'm going out for like a day, I'll bring 2 setups.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because if you're going street skating, you don't necessarily know exactly what spots you're going to hit. You could hit something random, that you don't expect. So it's kind of like you're putting all your eggs in one basket if you bring one setup. If you're like, damn, I should have my anti-rocker set up for this, or damn, I should have my flat rocker set up for this setup.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that too.
Well, you could honestly really tell. You can really, and the reason why I think it's going to change is because of like my own experience with it. So we're skating flat, and like a crew I'll skate with like Tony Rivatuso and John Bellino, and we'll be skating flat, and everyone's like, oh, let's get these torques. We'll get these torques, and everyone can do it and makes the trick happen, and they look great. Like these guys are really stylish guys, and they make the tricks look great. But then when I'm skating anti, I'm realizing that I'm not confined to doing the trick a certain way. Like you have more, like even in like Soichido's new edit, like he did like a back torque to like mistrial. And his latest edit is like 2023 edit with like the weekend them skate, the orange skates. And he did like the way he did the back torque, he put his foot like kind of behind it, and then he went to mistrial. And Soichido skates anti-rocker, and you're like, oh, that makes sense in how he did that for like with his setup. And like you see like a lot of the certain styles and how you have more flexibility on the grind aspects of the styles when skating anti, like Vinny Minton, Alex Broscow, Sean Darst, Soichiro Kaneshima. It's like you see certain things like, oh, that gives you access to doing the trick and being more expressive in the grind instead of having to be confined in the certain space of the grind. So based on just the artistic aspect alone and the expressive aspect and personability aspect of skating things anti, I think that we're going to see more people doing it personally, because I see skating going more in that direction of like personalizing your tricks instead of like achieving the trick, if that makes sense. That being said, I'm not bashing anyone who's skating flat. Like, and look, there's the Sean Kelso and Colin Kelso will probably be flat like forever and still be able to do all of this stuff. Like Sean doing like true front torques, and all these other things, and kind of having that ability. But I don't know. It's just what I think. And if I'm pushing this too hard, I apologize. But it's a prediction, so that's what I think.
I want to say something slightly off topic, but you were talking about the torques, and I just in our do's and don'ts of skating, we started talking about the landing on the lava side, and you had some exceptions, like when you do like alley macchio and coming off on the dark side, like leaning over, it looks cool like that. I just saw a clip the other day. I wish I remembered who it was, but I just saw a clip the other day of somebody on like a handicap rail or like a mellow down rail. They did a back torque like Jeff Stockwell style with like the leg kicking out forward like that. And then they were coming at it. And then at the very last second, they went whoop. They pulled their foot over and came out on the far side like it was on purpose. And it was the sickest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, that is a perfect example of what Billy was talking about, how coming off on the lava side is good in certain cases. That control was so good. And that's similar to how you said Ali Macchio would be cool coming out on the far side like that. I just wanted to throw that out there because you were talking about torques and it came into my mind.
Yeah, and since we're talking about, and I know this is a prediction episode, but I will weigh in on that really quick. The lava thing.
More lava in 2023?
No, like anyone who like has rules in skating, like there's like they always get broken to some degree. Like you have to grab all your tricks was like a very early one, and then like DL was like, no, I'm not going to, but I'm going to show control in this way, and you have to stay fakey. And then in that, people were like, no, you could swivel out, spin in, like turn fast. And I think the same applies to the lava. I think it all comes down to intention. It's if you did this trick intentionally in this way and in that vision and you show control, then that's how and that's what ultimately matters. Like the rules themselves are like not meant to be adhered like all the way to the T. And the people who can actually break those rules tend in a proper way tend to be like the most tend to have like high levels of control and a good vision for their tricks. So what they say, learn the rules so you could break them properly.
Exactly. Perfect examples of those. I want to see more of that too. I love that. Let's move on to, I have my second prediction here. And I initially wrote this at the end of December. So I might change this. I'll tell you why in a second. My prediction was that Jae Yoon was going to get second place at Winter Clash. And I was very specific with that. And I'm
second.
Yes. He's going to get second again. I know it's very specific because he got second at Blading Cup. And I just felt like he was going to do really fucking good. And like it's going to be one of those situations where everyone thinks he's going to win and then he just doesn't win. That's why I picked second, because people like me probably would have thought that he's going to win. But I also see now at the Winter Clash website, he's not listed as one of the riders. So he might not even be at Winter Clash now. So I'm changing that, looking at the current list now. And I'm just going to say that Stefan Alfano is going to be top 3 in Winter Clash. I don't know exactly. I don't think he's going to win, but I'm going to say Stefan Alfano is going to be top 3 at Winter Clash this year. He's been making a comeback, as you were talking about before, the comebacks. And he's like a Demetrius George status. Like he's not just chilling when he's coming back. He's like picking off exactly where he left off, and he's still trying to push it as hard as possible. He just put it out a street section with like hammer after hammer on it. He's doing the same thing with Parks. He's still flipping and transferring from half pipe to quarter pipe to bowl, whatever this and that. Flips all over the place. And the new Area 51 skate park at Winter Clash this year is catered. It seems like it's catered a little bit more towards that. I haven't been there yet, but it seems like it's a little bigger than it usually is in the past. So I think it's going to cater to his style. He definitely feeds off that vibe, that like big crowd, big excitement kind of vibe. I don't know if he's ever won a Winter Clash. I could be wrong. Maybe he has won a Winter Clash before. I know there's that famous clip of him when it was back in Mühlhausen in Germany. He did the flat spin transfer from like the spine onto the bank on the other side. That was like maybe he won that year. I don't know. Maybe you guys could tell me in the chat. But I feel like Stefan Alfano, I don't think he's going to win, but he's going to be top 3 in Winter Clash this year. And it's going to be a shock because last year you probably wouldn't have said that because you'd be like, Stefan Alfano, he's skating again? But I think he's going to do it.
I think that's a really smart prediction. I think him or Julian Cadeau could do something pretty heavy this year because, like you said, they both filmed street parts, which aren't like their forte.
Julian
in
did
any
too,
way.
I think, this year too, and both of them.
And he went down to South America to do it, so like he really put in the work, and you wonder like the motivation behind a lot of that stuff. Like, wow, like you're traditionally like this contest skater known for this way of skating, like flipping into grinds, spinning into grinds, disaster, and all this stuff, and then wanting to like show out on street. Uh, you can just see the motivation. So I do think that I'd be willing to bet that one of those two at least gets top three. So I think that's a good and the French actually come like in a really competitive form, like a lot of the time, a lot of those guys, but those two specifically put a lot of emphasis on the street aspects. I think they try to like cater to more than just the competition crowd. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's a pretty good prediction. I think that's going to be that's a good one. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm wondering what you think as well. Everyone else.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the Winter Clash website because they have all their results from the past years. Stefano Fano won in 2007, so that'd be crazy if he won, 16 years later, and that would be crazy. Julian Cadeau won in 2010 and 2012. Damn, so Julian has 2 wins already at Winter
Wow.
Clash. So I mean, I could definitely see that happening again too because he's still getting better, just like many of as people get older, they're just still getting better and still progressing. So that it's going to be close between Julian and Stefan. Actually, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other contenders too as well. It's hard without actually being there and seeing the course, but I think those are 2 pretty accurate predictions right there of people who are possibly going to win Winter Clash this year.
I like that. Um. Okay, so this one's a bit further out.
Good, let's hear it. My next one's pretty
okay.
far out too, so I'll join you.
Okay, so predictions of like any at all mainstream attention or attention outside of the skating community. We've seen a lot kind of bubble up last year from certain collabs or people putting a spotlight on rollerblading who haven't previously, in huge part thanks to them skates and John Julio and all their work. There was a Clark's collab, which was massive, being, you're from Staten Island, I'm from Staten Island. Clark's were like we used to call them Wu-Tang Wallabies.
Yep.
These were like a big deal in the 90s in New York. Like they were like the sneakers that everyone in Wu-Tang wore. So if you were from Staten Island, that was like, I didn't even know what Clark's was. We just called them Wallabies.
Yeah,
that
Wallabies,
was
it.
it.
That's it.
Yeah, but like seeing that was pretty big. And then like also like the weekend collab and them talking about rollerblading on the 9 Club in what seemed to be a pretty positive light.
Yeah.
And I also heard that all those guys requested pairs of skates.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I watched a podcast with Grant, the guy from Weekend. He did a podcast with Arlo and a couple other people. It's a very interesting podcast.
Who is he? Is he a skateboarder?
Grant owns Weekend.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
They did a collab. Yeah, it's a very interesting podcast. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Yeah. Anyway, so they were basically, just all that kind of attention. Basically, he spoke about how the guys in the 9 Club, like who, all these guys like had jokes about blading, like little like condescending under the nose kind of jokes if it was mentioned on the podcast in the past, and in this way it was like received in a positive light. And so it just got me to thinking like when and if there will be more mainstream attention. Excuse me for my voice right now, I'm still recovering from a dental thing, but yeah, and mainstream attention with blading. But I think that, and the thing is, I don't know the direction, but I feel like we'll see some sort of mainstream commercial or something involving blading tied in with roller skating. I don't even know what it would be, what company would do it, or what platform it would go on. But I feel like it's going to kind of continue in this way. I don't know. This is kind of like a very broad prediction, but I feel like we'll see blading in some capacity on the television. Is that crazy?
I like
Am I
that.
like a
I don't think that's
hopeless
crazy
romantic?
at all. And
Okay.
I think Tony mentioned, Tony Rivasuda mentioned in the chat too. The Barbie movie is supposed to come out this year, which is going to be, you know, blading in the mainstream, even though it is Barbie and not like specifically what we do, you know, but it's still rollerblading in the mainstream. Yeah, especially going over that our podcast that got canceled, the one with the where we look at blading moments in mainstream media, and to see how often skating was in movies and commercials. It was in like McDonald's, Sunny D commercials, AT&T commercials all the time, and it was really cool to see. I would definitely like to see more of that and to see certain pros, you know, whoever it is, I can't name anyone off the bat, but certain pros just be like the face of the commercial, like how Brian Smith was the commercial that AT&T, the face of the AT&T commercial. Like he actually got like FaceTime in it. It wasn't just him in a costume as like a stunt double or something like that, you know, like actually seeing his face and showing some personality. That would be really cool to see too. And baby steps, you know, but I could picture seeing more ads, a little more skating action in there.
I think I mean, and I don't mean to be harsh, but I think there's very few bladers that can do that. What Brian Smith was able to do, because you need to be at that level of skating and that level of like charisma and wherewithal and you know, a certain kind of look in order to get on the screen. I see a few people that are capable of doing that.
Montre can get some FaceTime. I think he looks cool with the dreads. He makes skating look cool.
Montre's cool. Montre's cool. He's very personable. His Instagram lately is like, I feel like he's trying to engage like a younger audience as like he's like a father. So he's like speaking more to like trying to speak to children more. So I can see those kind of things happening. I don't know who. I think Montre could be a contender.
I'm trying to think too. Let us know in the chat too if you could think of other people who would be a nice candidate to do this for skating, to be the face of the quote face of skating in the mainstream commercial world, because that would be really cool to see again this year too.
Yeah, it turns out that often our best guys like aren't like you know, the most outgoing personalities in terms of like being on like the mainstream front screen for like in front of the camera, because they're such like artistic minded people who are so like focused on these things that, you know, it's all those things are skills, like, you know, being able to like get on a camera and be like blah, 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 like that kind of person. So I think Montre could do it. But
what about like Biz or Tom Moise or something like that too?
No, totally. But I mean, all due respect, like they're not like the pros. Like I'm talking about like the pros who.
But you don't need to necessarily be a pro to be on a.
I agree.
As long as you know how to skate. I did a fucking roller skating commercial last year. I don't roller skate, but I did it. You know, you don't have to necessarily be like a pro, but we just saw most of the pros, I guess, back in the day, because, you know, Brian Smith is like pros were more celebrity like than they are now. So I guess that's why we saw it more back then. But it could be anybody. It could just be a random unknown person, you know, who just skates, you know, and just kills it. So you never know. It could be someone they find on Instagram. Someone could get like a random reel that has like 1 million views on Instagram, and people are like, who is this? I don't know. But someone could see that and hire them for a commercial, and then there it is.
Yeah.
Could be anybody.
So, some people are saying Danny Beer.
I just saw that now.
You know what? Danny Beer, very handsome guy, very much in shape. He's a stud, fantastic skater. I don't know if is he like, I don't know, like as a person, his personality, it's great. I'm not sure if he's willing to, you know, we've asked him to come on the podcast. He's told us no. I'm not sure if he wants to put himself out there like that.
I could picture him being like a butcher shop, like a commercial for a butcher shop, like just take a bite out of a big old steak or something like that and skate off, or like just down like a dozen raw eggs and just go lace like a fucking 30-foot gap straight air or something like that. I could picture doing something like that. You got to really know Danny though as like a skater to picture him in that spot. I feel like somebody who's actually scouting for these types of talents might not see that about him as we see Danny Beer. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Could be a Canadian company too. Canadians, you know, you can never predict with Canadians.
They're always coming out of pocket, Canadians, man.
Exactly. Was that? Oh yeah, that was your go. So my go. So my last prediction here. And again, by the way, we're gonna go through a shout out a couple of your predictions too at the end of the show. If you have crazy predictions different from ours, let us know at Jump Street Podcast so it stands out, and we could read off a couple of these and we could reference these at the end of the year as well. But my last one is kind of similar to yours too, but I said in 2023 there will be official confirmation that rollerblading will be back in the X Games. And the reason why I say this too is because of the collabs as well, and there's a lot of recognition with skateboarding, and I know we shouldn't piggyback off skateboarding, but I'm sure that's a big reason why rollerblading isn't in the X Games, rollerblading wasn't in the X Games, and rollerblading was held back from the X Games for so long. And I feel that now with a little bit more respect from the skateboarding world, people at the X Games, the higher ups will see that and be like, oh, the numbers are growing. This looks a little more promising. We have had rollerblading in the past. We know what it's about. We could do this again. And I'm sure on the board of X Games, whoever's in charge, there are some skateboarders on there whose minds might have changed in the last year or so about rollerblading being part of it. So I could see something like that happening. It's kind of a shot in the dark because it might never happen again. Who knows? And it's been talked about for 15 or so years at this point. But this is my wild out there prediction that there will be an official confirmation that rollerblading will be in the X Games.
That is a wild out there prediction.
Clip that, by the way, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't see it, but maybe. And I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I think X Games is kind of lame. Like in my opinion, like I don't think like the core people of like the people who I like to watch in each sport aren't normally doing the X Games. Like X Games is a way for corporate companies to make money off of young talent, So if they want to use us, that could be beneficial for us in some way, giving us that platform. But I don't mean to be negative, but I that would be cool. That would be huge. So I don't know. Let me not shoot down what you're saying. Clip that and let's see if it happens. All respect.
Well, I completely agree with that too.
In that same light, I think we're going to see more happen with. I think we'll do more with BMX and maybe scootering and roller skating, because I see those cultures as closer to ours in terms of where we're at in terms of our health versus skateboarding. Skateboarding is like this kind of bigger, its own entity. There's they got like multiple pros who are like millionaires. They're in like, every company that wants to make money uses skateboarding, like Bagel Bites to freaking Netflix to whoever was like, oh, just throw a skateboard on it and then we could sell it. I feel like BMX and scootering and roller skating is like closer to where we are as an industry of like on the outskirts. So I see us banding together with them maybe more this year. That would be, but skateboarding is always welcome. I'm not like against skateboarding, like a lot of my good buddies skateboard. Bolino is a great skateboarder, and I see those collaborations or those like interactions happening with other sports as well. Like I can see us maybe doing something with them.
That's an interesting one too, because we haven't had those types of collaborations yet on a big scale. I do agree with you saying about I personally wouldn't care too much either if rollerblading was on the X Games or not. I haven't cared in the last however many years, and I've enjoyed skating now more than ever. But there is, I guess, like a market or audience for it. It's like very feasty.
It's good.
It's good with feast. Feast is like very similar to the X Games, and rollerblading is huge in the feast, and there are a huge demographic of skaters who would fit that mold of like being an X Games skater and representing the sport and stuff like that. It's not necessarily me or you or the people that we like to watch skating, but there is something out there. I don't know how the process goes of if rollerblading were to be in the X Games. I don't know who they ask or whatever. I don't know if they ask all the company owners. I don't know how the hell that works, but I'm curious if somehow in whatever way possible, X Games came to rollerblading and was like, we want you in the X Games next year. It's on kind of your terms, how you
Who
want
do
to be
they come
represented.
to?
Exactly.
Who would they come to? They would have to go to John Julio. Right?
I was thinking that too, because like
X Games goes to John Julio.
I'm curious what somebody like John would think about that too, because John is clearly trying to expand skating outside of skating itself, right?
I think everyone with a brain would be down. Like
And
not
everybody financially invested too, because that means money
Right.
in everyone's pocket. Hopefully, money
Correct.
in everyone's pocket.
Right.
It depends on
I
the
mean, I
terms
would
and
be
everything.
down if they called me. Everything I just said about how I don't care, I don't respect them. If they called me and were like, "Hey, dude, we want to. Can you help us get playing on X Games?" I'd say, "Of course," because I care about the future of skating and I want to get more kids on skates and I want to see our industry thrive and be healthy. So yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And I'm seeing people in the chat too. A lot of people like, fuck the X Games. Why do we want to be in the X Games? This and that.
Right.
And true, fuck the X Games.
No, true.
But
Yeah.
if X Games came to us and was like, yo, we want you in next year, the X Games, it's going to be perfect however it was before. We're all going to laugh and sing and hold hands and yada, yada, yada. Nobody's going to say no. Like, no, I don't think anybody would say no. People who are company owners who want more money, who want to see rollerblading grow, more eyes on rollerblading, nobody's going to say no in the end of the day. So
No, you know what it is? It's kind of like when that when you're in like high school and that hot girl that you dated breaks your heart and you're like, yo, if she comes back, man, I don't even whatever. She's not even anything special to me. But if she comes back and she's like, hey, so you want to hang out? You're like, yes. It's kind of like that.
Yes.
I don't know.
I pictured you in Brosco
Yes,
when you said that.
I do. Yeah. But I don't know.
That's my wild prediction, though.
Yeah. Hey, that's a pretty
it's
good
out
one.
there. Probably won't happen, but just throwing it out there with the way that skating's been going, especially last year with the weekend collaboration, the respect from skateboarders. Not that we need the respect, but I'm just saying it is there now and could change the influence.
It's nice to see all that to see stuff start to go in a more positive direction. Like even around here, I've said it a few times on the podcast, we skate like Cherry. There's people on skateboards, bikes, scooters, and everyone's showing each other respect because, well, that's you would think it's common sense, but not so much because we as humans think in terms of individuals and in terms of being members of groups. So as members of groups and newer religious perspectives, which could be I'm a blader. This is who I am. I'm a skateboarder. This is who I am. And the defense of those cultures and ideas, you can kind of be against other things, but see those things kind of melt away and dissipate. I think there it leaves an opportunity open for things that could be like you're saying.
Yeah, and also I forgot about this, but X Games themselves asked their audience what they want to see back in the X Games or in the X Games, and rollerblading took it easy. It was, I forgot what the categories were, but like a year or two ago, X Games they themselves asked their audience what you would like to see in the X Games, and rollerblading won by a long shot. It was a landslide victory. So it has to have been in their mind since then, at least. I mean, probably before that. So over the years, it's probably been in their minds. They might internally be working on something or have it on the back burner, and something like that weekend collaboration could push it over the edge. You never know.
Yeah, no, I think having that opportunity, the openness for that opportunity to happen is definitely there.
Yeah, so that's my take for that.
Yeah. So I have one more, but I don't have an answer. I just want to bring it up, and I will speculate, and you can speculate. It's just a thought, but and this could be fun, especially for the people in the chat or people in the comments who are watching this later on. But collabs, what 2023 prediction collabs? So what have we seen in 2022 and 2021? We've seen Brain Dead, high fashion brand, collaborate with a rollerblading company. I mean, Them Skates has all the collabs. High fashion company brand collaborate with an inline skate company, Clark's, a sneaker company, and then Weekend, which I think one kind of led to the other, right? Do you know what I mean? It kind of all leaves it open there. But I don't have an answer to this. but do you think we'll see
Well, it's a
another
prediction.
high? Well, okay. Well.
Pull something out of your ass. What do you think Rollerblading will collab with next? I know you're on the spot now.
There's a brand called A Life in New York City. It's a fashion brand.
Still around?
Yes, they're not what they were though.
Yeah,
but
it's like
they posted like a rollerblade, like
Really?
it was like a computer, like someone like drew it up 3D on a computer, like made a rollerblade and it said like A Life on it, and they posted it on there, and I was like, whoa, are they thinking of doing that? I wonder if Supreme would ever do anything, because Supreme and Braindead are pretty close as brands, but I feel like, again, like Braindead might be the ones who like own the space in the fashion space. But yeah, so if I'm just gonna guess, and I want to go away from fashion, I feel like BMX and blading, something will happen. I don't know how you make a collab in that area. I have no idea how that would even happen. But I feel like, I feel like we'll see some interesting collabs this year. I'm gonna go ahead and say, and yeah, maybe something with BMX. I don't know, and I'm wondering if another fashion brand will step in, because we've seen, just even seeing like the rollerblades and Zoomies, like the Them Skates weekend collaboration in Zoomies is such a big step. So I feel like those like Zoomies type fashion brands might be looking at things. Maybe they're waiting to see how the sales go first before they make the jump.
Yeah.
But I feel like we'll see some really interesting collaborations this year.
The Black Dog Blading said Mesmer and Hot Topic collaboration. That was along the lines of the Zoomies thing, I guess. That's why I brought it. That's a funny one.
Bro, dude, look at this. Someone said, well, them versus Basement, that makes sense. Gods and Jordan, that's pretty good. But someone said Gibson and Mesmer. Oh, but someone else said Mesmer and Marlboro, which is like, come on.
That's
probably got like
crazy.
one or two. We got like we have like two smokers on the team. They got like two. Come on.
Maddie smokes enough.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Them and Vans, I can see. You look, them is.
Oh yeah.
They're really crossing over in that way. Solomon and Gucci, no. Solomon can. We don't need Solomon back. I'm sorry. Like no. I mean,
I'm curious in the chat.
They used us. They used us once, and cool. They made us skate, and then they dipped, and then they talked bad about blading forever and ever. That's like wanting Solomon to come back is like there's like being like you're like the bottom end of an abusive relationship. Like, please come back and beat me again. I don't know. I'm sorry, but if you like Solomon, God bless. But I'm not. I don't want that. I'm sorry. I need to stop reading these things. What do you think?
Oh, I think that on that topic, I'm putting a poll in the live chat now. Which would you rather have back, Solomon or blading in the X Games? It's now that we're on both of those topics now, so I'll let that ride for a few minutes there. But I had something to say, and now we got completely sidetracked, and I kind of lost track on it.
Well, collabs, like the potential of where the collaborations could go.
Yeah, so you were talking about BMXing, and that's an interesting one because you're like, I don't know how that would happen, and all these other collaborations led to someone knowing somebody else on the inside, and I guess it's closer that rollerblading was with skateboarding, and then the Brain Dead thing happened because the owner used to rollerblade and knew who John Julio was and all this and that, and that linked up with with the weekend eventually. There would probably have to be some sort of link between a BMX and rollerblading, which Vans might be, because I'm pretty sure Vans do they make BMX shit, like shoes and shit? Like, do they sponsor BMXers?
It would make sense, right?
I think so. I don't know anything about BMX really, but I would assume that sneakers are part of their kit, whatever they use. So Vans makes sense with that. I don't know, maybe like Nike makes stuff like that too. I like how somebody said Jordan with Gods, because I feel like if Jordan found out about Gods, they'd probably sue Frankie and that was like trying to knock off their skates.
100%.
So
Jordan is ruthless, dude. He's a ruthless guy.
It was worth not knowing on their end. But a Nike collaboration of some sort would be cool and interesting. I like the sneaker collaboration. I don't know if I said this on the last podcast where we talked about the Weekend collaboration with them, but you know how they made the skateboard and the rollerblade? Like that was the dynamic there. I think it would have been cool if they linked with something like Vans and then say they made a them skate, like a them Vans skate, and say it was like just for argument's sake, a purple skate. And then Vans made a corresponding purple sneaker that like looked like the skate, and I feel like that would match better than a skateboard deck with a rollerblade. You know, I think that'd be cool to have like the sneaker, the them Vans sneaker, and then the them Vans rollerblade. I feel like those two go hand in hand a little bit better, and everybody could wear a sneaker. Not everybody can necessarily have a skateboard or a rollerblade. You know, I feel like that collaboration would be nice to see.
Yeah, we just, I think, I don't know about everyone else, but we just lost your audio for a second.
I heard like a little
but
hissing.
I think, I think we got the general idea that you were, I think it's a far stretch for Vans to come. They're just
Too big.
California culture company that's like embedded in like surf and skate. You know what the California culture is of like from that era. Which also tied in a lot with like not being down with blading. So is it possible? Yes. I think it's very far for Vans to come to do, but maybe. It's never say never. Anything's possible.
I just use that as an example because somebody mentioned Vans in the chat, and I don't know anything about skateboarding. I don't really know any other skateboarding sneaker brands or anything like that, but that just made sense compared to the Weekend collaboration. I would like to see more collaboration of brands outside of action sports in general, just like I don't know, a Coke brand, a Gatorade type of thing, like a vitamin water collaboration of some sort.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would be cooler and more beneficial to see. You know, Chad was on the
Jones
soda. Yeah, that's pretty cool. As random and cool.
That was really cool.
I don't know if that does anything, but it's cool just to see these things. You know, I don't know how beneficial it is for the sport itself.
Well, it does do something. It does. It basically just even the recognition to get that, like not only with Chad on there, but John Bellino's girlfriend, Ivy, had one. She's a like really well-known quad skater, roller skater. So yeah, I see more of that happening, I think, because also like a lot of those like big, like I feel like it's people are kind of going away from like big corporate things to like more boutique style things, which I think is like the Jones soda in comparison to like Coke.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to get that Jones than a Coke or a Pepsi as well, which kind of falls into our
That's what I mean.
hands. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like Coke doesn't need to collab with blading or skateboarding or anybody. Yeah. They're Coke. Like they have accounts in like they have an account with McDonald's that's they could be fine with forever. Like, you know, and like all these other whatever huge fast food chains. But yeah, it's interesting. But that being said, I don't want to beat it into the ground. But I do feel like we will see some cool collabs this year. And with that said, I have exhausted my predictions for the year. Yeah, I'm curious to see what everyone else would say. Oh, Sola versus and Zildjian, dude, Zildjian. If you want to do anything with Mesmer or let me know.
What would you do if Zildjian came to you and was like, "We want to do a collab with Mesmer"? What the hell would you guys do? Zildjian symbols?
I don't know. I don't know.
A Zildjian logo on the bottom of the sole plate. a free 10-inch splash with every skate purchase.
That's tough. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these things are hard to figure out.
Yeah. It is.
It's fun. It's fun to talk about, and it's interesting. And so yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. And I'm sure I whiffed on a lot of these things. I'm sure I'm wrong on a lot of these things. But
that's great. We'll get to look back on these in 11 months or 10 months time and see where we're at. I was hoping I'd get more predictions from the live chat. If you do have random predictions like we have, please at Jump Street Podcast, let us know and we'll shout them out at the end of the show, which is we're coming on to it now. But as far as the poll that I put out, what people want to see back, Solomon or blading in the X Games, it was blading in the X Games 60% and Solomon 39%, which doesn't add up to 100%. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but 60%.
It's an abusive relationship. Solomon.
60% of our viewers right now rather see blading in the X Games compared to the 39% of people who want to see Solomon come back into the sport. So
Yeah.
There you go. I figured it would go that way too, but
Yeah.
as far as predictions this year, well, the only things we really have so far, I mean, that seem like legit ones. B Water said more 6-wheel frames, which I don't know. He said more 6-wheel frames. I don't know if there are any 6-wheel frames out there.
Yeah. The big 3 wheels. I mean, no, six wheel.
frame,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm thinking about the 3 wheel that makes 6. No. I don't know. Yeah.
Torres actually had a prototype Wizard 6-wheel frame at Lake Havasu the year that we went last time. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He had a 6-wheel frame.
I think I do. Yeah.
It was a little wild.
That's skiing. That's land skiing. Yeah.
Pretty much. It's pretty funny. Yeah, but that's kind of, I mean, no one else really had any predictions in the chat. You guys are boring. Come on, we want to hear this shit. But
no, they're great. You guys are great. Don't listen to him.
You guys are great, but I thought that you guys would just go crazy right now with some wild ass predictions. Unless you guys do have predictions that didn't at Jump Street Podcast, and I can't find them because we do have a lot of comments in the chat right now.
Well, it's hard to predict things, but it's also fun, and it's cool to be. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. So
exactly,
everyone
skating in the X Games. Come on, how much more wrong can
there
I be?
were some cool collab ideas though in the chat. So yeah,
Chris Crowder said bring back Battle My Crew somehow on some level. That would be cool to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Tom Moy said sideboards, as in the facial hair, not the beard. Sideboards, we call them mutton chops.
Oh, huge shout out to Tom, by the way, for the mullet awards. I got second for.
Where's the mullet, by the way? You tied it up?
I've tied it up. I need to get rid of it. I think it's had its day, but I did get second. So
that was really cool. I was happy to see that. I bet you wouldn't expect to get any awards this year, but you got second for mullet, only to.
But we also did.
Dom.
We did.
And the
on
mushroom
one.
Oh yeah, one. Yes,
mushroom too.
Mushroom blading won. Yes. So thank you all for voting for that. I don't think mushroom blading votes, but for the one, thank you for voting for us for that one.
There's so many awards. We need to consolidate this. I don't know how that's going to happen. That's another prediction. We need to consolidate these awards. I loved Tom's. Maybe one magazine could work with Tom, and they could do it together. So we could have one solid guarantee home for awards. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
There's
a few last minute predictions coming out. I'm just going to run through these real fast.
Okay,
Anuj Wagley says prediction. Billy has edit of the year. I like that one. Like I said, Chris Crowder said bring back Battle My Crew. Was it Rob G says aggressive roller hockey tournaments? I don't really know what that is. Is that like just roller hockey with grinds in it or something, or like wizard moves?
Roller hockey is pretty aggressive as it is.
But... That's true. It is. It is. Yeah. So I mean, there were some cool ones that came in at the end.
All right, those are good. I feel like we should not drag this any longer.
Nah, let's do it. Let's end it,
guys. Everyone, all people. Oh my God, I'm reading some things in there that are hilarious.
A lot of collabs in there. A lot of collabs.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Well, please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for joining us on our first Channel 11 episode. Oh, Chris Haffey on Joe Rogan.
That's I had to show that one. LeBron said Chris Haffey on Joe Rogan. That would be a good one.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I'm going to put another prediction out there. Let's see. And it's not a prediction. It's a hope. I hope to see more skating from Chris Haffey this year. Oh, I love it. Okay, cool.
With that one.
So shout out to everyone. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you think we got anything right. Let us know what you think we got wrong, what we didn't mention, what could be. Thank you for joining us on our first episode of 2023. We are going to be back next week in our regularly scheduled programming with a new guest, and we are going to see you at Winter Clash for a handful of live episodes in Europe. So I'm very excited for that, and I'm excited to see everyone at the Winter Clash. It's the first one that we have since this whole COVID debacle has taken over our whole society.
3 years.
So I think it'll be a very high energy event. I look forward to seeing everyone who goes, and thank you for joining us. And Austin, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Billy. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Blank again for sponsoring this episode. Check out that Blank in SF edit. I have the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. Check out that new Jump Street hoodie also if you want to stay warm this winter. And check out Jump supplements too. And use code HOMIEBILL at checkout for 20% off your order. Thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.